now we're going to be looking at a specific focus on the Southern Africa markets. And joining me now, we have Dion Shango. He's the new Chief Executive at PwC for Southern Africa. Dion, thanks so much for making the time to join us. You are new in the job, only just a few days or so?
Thank you, Demisha. Yes.
So now we're talking about you being in this role as the Chief Executive of Southern Africa. What are going to be your key priorities here?
So thank you again, Demisha. The role actually takes effect only 1 July 2015, but as you can imagine, a lot of transition activity will be underway. So what we call PwC Africa is made up of 3 regions, being East Market Area, or Eastern Africa, West Market Area, and South Market Area. South Market Area basically comprises your Southern African countries. So my role would be to look after the South Market Area, which consists of South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Swaziland.
Let's just talk about the Southern Africa component at the moment and talk about something that a report, or rather announcement that was made from the IMF. David Lipton today did caution that South Africa, which still has a very big influence on the Southern African context as well as Sub-Saharan Africa,
yes,
that we shouldn't be so reliant on these measures, stimulus measures that are coming through from the likes of
sure,
for the Eurozone, that we should really be focusing on putting together certain reforms.
Yes.
Are you reading this, and what does this mean for Southern Africa as a region?
I think Mr. Lipton's comments are fairly in line with what government has been saying for a while now, that our economy is battling with certain structural challenges in the economy. And these are challenges that have to be addressed in order for the economy to really take a step up in terms of the growth rates that we're seeing currently. A lot has been said about the fact that we are lagging the rest of the continent in terms of our growth, and that these challenges, these structural challenges, need to be addressed urgently if we are to see a significant step up in growth.
In terms of reforms, are you finding that the Southern African part of the region is as robust? We've seen the likes of Rwanda, who have been champions for putting reforms that have fostered a good economic growth.
Yes.
What do you think about Southern Africa?
So South Africa, I think, is well known globally as being a robust democracy, where people have extensive rights in terms of being vocal with regards to actions that government take. It is not very easy for government to make decisions willy-nilly either way. There are a significant number of stakeholders that have to be consulted on a whole raft of issues whenever changes need to be made. There are the unions to consider, there are communities that government needs to serve to consider. So therefore, it often takes longer than what is appreciated to see reforms make their way through to day-to-day life.
Even though South Africa plays an important role for the region, with a lot of the companies expanding outside of the South African borders, there's still so much potential. If you look at the likes of Mozambique with its oil and gas finds, but then we saw the oil price dip. The exploration and oil perspectives in that particular region, are we still going to continue to see money being plowed in the oil and gas sector?
Depending on what your view is on where oil is going and the oil price, yes, the countries that are oil exporters have taken a bit of a hit from the recent dip in the oil price. And I'm sure these economies, the governments of those economies will have to look at the economies and see whether it is a good policy to be so reliant on oil. Certainly, if you take away the oil story, I think certainly that Sub-Saharan Africa as a whole is on the cusp of some great growth over the next couple of years, or over the next decade even. So certainly I don't think it's an oil-only story, and that Africa is there for the taking.
So it's not an oil-only story. Where else is the growth going to come from, sector-wise?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at Africa as a continent, a young population. You have reports out there that say that the next 20 mega cities will be on the African continent. There will be such a massive need for products, for services, infrastructure, and the list goes on. So if you compare Africa and where it is in its development with, and compare it to the rest of the world, certainly a lot of work, a lot of business opportunity, a lot of investment is required in order to realize the African dream.
Investors, what's keeping investors and CEOs awake at night when they think about investing in Southern Africa in particular?
I think Africa continues to be topical in the minds of international investors. Africa is certainly seen as the place to be, but also a place that is not seen as being the easiest to invest in. I think our very own South African companies have burnt fingers in the past. And certainly one needs to be careful as to how one enters various markets. Certainly the copy and paste approach has been proven to be not the appropriate approach to use. And partnering with local businesses and economic players in each country seems to be the more sustainable approach.
Right. Dion, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Best of luck in your tenure, and we look forward to some very interesting analysis from you next time.